Joe, thanks for joining us this morning. You've been a client of ours for several years. You sat on our advisory forum, and I'm really excited to hear today your views on some of the activity Sky's taken, the benefits of it, the reasons for it, and any advice you can give to other businesses as well. So let me start by asking you, 7 years ago when Sky set off on this groundbreaking journey, what were the reasons for that?
Well, in 2005, when we first sort of started looking at this, there was a huge amount of noise and interest in tackling climate change, and we at Sky wanted to do our bit and really to take action, but not just as a company about our own operational footprint, but also by engaging our staff and talking to our customers about it. So in 2005, we measured our carbon footprint. As you all know, in 2006, we went carbon neutral because we went carbon neutral with a carbon neutral company. And then we set a range of targets, which since then we've been driving to minimise our environmental impact, but also to talk to people about what we're doing and hope that they will also get inspired to take similar action. And we've talked to our employees, we've talked to our customers, and importantly, we've also talked to our supply chain.
And I think, bringing staff with you, helping them understand why the business is doing these things is often a very critical part of any of these plans. How did the staff react to some of the things you asked of them through the programme?
Well, our staff have generally been really enthusiastic to help. I mean, we have a highly engaged workforce, and they always want to play their part and take action any way they can, whether that is on our environment programs, our sports programs, our arts programs. So really it was just about engaging with them in a way that they felt they could take action themselves. So we offered a range of opportunities, whether that was doing what they could in their own office environment, being ambassadors for our programs, or whether it was donating to Sky Rainforest Rescue, which is a partnership with WWF to help save 1 billion trees that we launched about 3 years ago, or whether it was actually just acting as an ambassador for what we were trying to do at Sky.
I think one of the interesting things when I look at sort of the journey Sky has gone on is that it strikes me you understood not just to make some sort of changes that affect things like energy, but actually a cultural change came with that. And you looked at the programming of your programs, you looked at how you engage staff, but also outside of the business, how you engaged with your suppliers. Are there any sort of real highlights that you weren't expecting that have come from those sorts of activities?
Yeah, there are. I mean, I think that the more we engage with customers and with our supply chain particularly, as well as our staff, the more opportunities have arisen and the more that we have been able to do. So our suppliers were incredibly keen to join with us to do what they can, and I think it wasn't just about carbon, it was of course about sharing a common vision and a common business purpose. They understood what was driving us, we understood what was driving them, and we got a lot of collaboration, a lot of improvement out of that. But then if we also look at our customers, our customers do care about these issues, but they may not care as much as the sort of people perhaps like you and I who are going to watch an intense carbon climate change documentary. They just want to be entertained at times, but they do actually care. So one of the things we've done is to do programming that was entertaining first, but had a sort of green tinge to it. So programs like Rooftop Rainforest and different programs we've been doing over time have had engaged our audiences in a fun way about the issues of climate change.
And that sounds fantastic, and as if it's been quite an easy journey. I'm imagining there have been some challenges on the way. What sort of challenges could any company expect, and how did you as Sky tackle those? Yeah,
well, obviously the biggest challenge is that the more you do, the harder it is to do more, just because you're essentially becoming more efficient as a business, you're decreasing your carbon impact, it just becomes harder to cut carbon, obviously. So then it becomes about bigger infrastructure projects. So there's a number of ways we've tackled that. The first is setting up a sort of capital pot to enable the business to pitch ideas for how they can cut carbon. And what that meant is that we could take it out of normal business processes where it might not pay back in the same time as something that was more commercial, but we knew would make a difference. And so people across the business have pitched to that, and we've been able to implement a lot of things, whether it's about our data centres, whether it's about renewable energy, whether it's about something to do with transport, things that might not have made the cut.
And if you were to give advice to other companies who haven't taken this agenda to heart just yet, what would the advice be that you would give to businesses just sort of starting to really get to grips with the environmental agenda?
Just take the first step. So, I mean, I think the first step is really the hardest. So as soon as you do that, then you'll unlock all these different ways, that you can help birth your business, help talk to your customers, help engage your employees, and of course, importantly, help make a difference on the environment. But it's always the first step that's the hardest, and then it just comes after that.